Hi, Ken Stomsky along with Harry Rock with another episode of Discover Westfield. Quickly, let's remind our viewers exactly what Discover Westfield is about.
So this is an opportunity for businesses to really promote themselves and to share with our great community just what they have as a business for families, for children, for individuals within their shop or their establishment. And this is an opportunity to connect with us. We'll bring our cameras in, and then we do a show. And it just tells the story behind how that business got started, what they have to offer, and how they're dealing with the COVID crisis.
Excellent. This time out, we're visiting Serendipity Psych.
Yep, this is a small, and actually a new, they've only been around for a year, but a two-partner business mental health agency located at 193 Franklin Street. And
193 Russell.
Russell, that's right.
That's right near the point where it turns from Russell to Franklin.
You know what? Because I got confused. So for people, when you're coming down Route 20 off of Franklin onto Russell, the numbers change.
Right around the bend, it changes from Russell to Franklin.
So if you think you've run out of numbers, keep on going because the numbers start increasing again, which threw me off. But you're exactly right. But it is well before you get to the golf course, Toccoa Golf Course.
Well before.
On the right-hand side.
Are you ready to get going?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, hold tight.
Welcome to Discover Westfield. I'm Harry Rock, and Kenny Stomsky is the voice that you'll hear behind the camera. Today we're visiting Serendipity Psych Counseling and Consultation, located at 193 Russell Road here in Westfield. My guests are Dallas Pilecki and Ariana Avesi. Dallas graduated from Springfield College with a master's in psychology with a concentration in clinical mental health counseling. And Ariana graduated from Springfield College as well with a master's in marriage and family therapy. And so I just want to say thanks so much for your willingness to be on our show and to give us a chance to discover you as Westfield discovers all the great services that we have here in our great city. So I was very interested as I was doing some basic research on your website to see the Springfield College logo on your website, and as you noticed when I walked in, I was also wearing a Springfield College jacket because I worked there for 9 years. And so tell me a little bit about how you both found Springfield College. I was just curious about that connection.
So I was born and raised in this area, and so I had moved to Pennsylvania to go to undergraduate, and I was there for 4 years. And I was looking to come home to be with my family. I had siblings locally, so I wanted to be home with them. So I started looking at local colleges, and I found Springfield College, and I saw their marriage and family program. So I applied, got in, and decided to go there. And I had actually never really heard of Springfield College until I started doing research, and then I fell in love with the program and fell in love with the school. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's in Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, so after graduating high school, I got my associate's degree at Hoyok Community College and was looking for the next step. And Springfield College really gave me an opportunity to get into psychology and also do some pre-med. At that time was like my focus. And, you know, so undergrad I loved it, and then I was like, I need to come back, and I'm fully into psychology. So I went back for graduate school and just loved it. I had a great experience, you know, and that's why we kind of brought it here, because the mind, body, spirit, like, we just learned a lot, I think, from Springfield College,
right.
The morals and what it kind of teaches you when I go in there. So.
Great school. I enjoyed my 9 years there. I was the director of the YMCA Professional Studies program, but as you said, a great school. So you both met at Springfield College, or before that?
So we met once at Springfield College. We didn't really know each other. We had like a class together for a little bit.
Okay, because you were there, you overlapped the same time.
We did, yeah, but we didn't really meet then.
Okay.
We had worked at an agency together and got to know each other after we both graduated.
Yeah. All right. So let's just talk a little bit about what your careers were that got you to where you are today, being together, and then where did you kind of meet, and how did you decide to team up as a counseling team.
Yeah, for sure. So, like Ariana said, so we started working at the same agency back in 2014. That's when I started after graduating, and she had already been there for a year because she graduated in 2013. And just through talking, it was like a few months into working that we kind of met each other, waiting in the waiting room for our clients to get there. And we just started talking about SC, both of us going to Springfield College. So just from there, and just being both very young clinicians, we kind of bonded, And I think when you always get out, you always talk about having your own practice and like starting that up. But like in the early beginning, you can't do that. And then throughout the years, we just kind of mirrored each other's careers. We moved from that to crisis management, and then to some local hospitals. We kind of just worked in different positions, but always interacted with each other. And then about a year ago, this time, we kind of really started talking about let's open up our own practice. I think it's time,
So tell me about the decision to come together. You were leaving paying positions, and now you're deciding to kind of jump into where you have to create your own salary and pay expenses and pay bills, and you got no money to start off with and no client base.
I'm always want to take a risk, but no, like, we'd been talking, like I said, about it, and then it kind of just made sense. She was actually just coming off of maternity leave and kind of deciding if she wanted to go back to her full-time job at a local agency, or if this is a good time to kind of take that leap. And then for me, I was in a transition period as well for my career, leaving the hospital that I was working with, and kind of felt like it might be time for me to kind of do my own thing and be my own boss and kind of do things the way we always wanted to. So we decided to make the leap together back in October of last year, and just said we're going to bet on ourselves. We know the experience we have. We know we have a lot of connections in this area of like past people we worked with that we feel can guide us and have pushed us in the right direction and believe in us too. So we decided, like, let's just go all in and bet on ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was the first step that you had to take in really creating a business? You had to find a place to start? Is this where you first started, or what were the steps that you had to take just to, okay, we're going to do it together. We're best of friends, and we decide to come together and put our fortunes in both hands. So what was the next step for you?
Yeah, so like we're messaging on Facebook, and she's saying like, I think we can use this space, this space right here. I was like, okay. And we actually did all our meetings in the kitchen
at the table
right now. Like before it was all redone, we just kind of hashed up. Okay, can this work? Can we do this? What's our budget going to look like? What's our name going to be? Like all those little things we hashed out here. So which is kind of cool that we're still here. But yeah, we started that back last fall. Once we decided, we just came here, and she takes care of she's much more into the research and making sure that everything's like legit. So she was more on that end. I was more the creative, making like our game plan, making our mission statements, all that kind of thing.
Right.
And we just checked in, every few days here, and kind of just built it from there. Because like I said, she took care of pretty much everything of what's needed to start a business. And we just talked about it and moved from there. But
all the fun paperwork.
Yeah.
Creating the website, all the fun paperwork. That's my aspect.
But yeah, we just did everything together,
So really the business of, sometimes it's really hard for, you think, no, like, Kenny, let's you and I put a business together. Sounds like a great idea. And then, people get together and they either find that they're very compatible and it works and there's good separation of duties and good communication and support for each other, or there's animosity, or people start overstepping, or I could have done that better.
Absolutely.
So you guys obviously are a very high functioning, supportive team.
Yeah, and I think what helps is like we both trust each other clinically, and for both of us to trust another clinician clinically is like you trust them with other things. Like like I trust your skills. She knows we each have our own strengths. She'll say, as you see, like Dallas is the creative one, Dallas is this, and I'm like, she's very much the books, the making sure we're in order, make sure that. So and what we do well together is just coincide, and bounce ideas off, and know it's okay. We feel comfortable with each other. Like if we did need help, that the other person's just there. It's not to judge, right?
I kind of get that, because if Harry and I were to put a business together, I'm sure that he'd be fine with me being president.
Not a problem. Absolutely.
I think that's the thing too, and even clinically, we're well-rounded because we have different strengths. And I think so we can support each other clinically and in our company too, and that's always been really a good aspect of our dynamic.
So where did the name Serenity come from?
It's Serendipity.
Yeah,
Serendipity, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, Serendipity, Psych. So Serendipity, like, definition is just like, a chance occurrence of something happening just at the right moment. So that's why I said, like, serendipity, like, this is the right moment. So there's serendipity part. And then the Psych is actually, we love the show Psych. So that's why there's, like, pineapples, like, everywhere in here. Like, every office will have, like, little hidden ones. And that's why the name kind of Serendipity Psych came. Because it was just, like, a play on both those things. Like, this is the right time that we're deciding, like, we're going to make this leap after talking about it for so long and asking ourselves when is the right time, and then Psych, just because it's kind of funny. And it ties in with the name too, but just because we love that show and it just fits to who we are, I guess.
You know, it is interesting to go through. This is your office is in what was originally a home,
Right.
right here on Route 20,
Yeah.
Russell Road, and you know when you walk through here, it's immaculately decorated. You know, your attention to detail is incredible. So there's clocks, as you point out. There's pineapples. It's very, very well done. But when you come in, you just feel very comfortable here. And of course, the first thing that draws your eye is this tree over here. And Kenny, is the tree in the? You have the tree in the shop there. So tell us about the tree.
Yeah, so
why basically it's a Christmas tree.
I know, it's our Christmas tree all year round. Yep.
Yeah. So that's our giving tree, and that's something I initially started with my family. We have a giving tree in our basement, and that's where we gather all our gifts and things we're going to donate throughout the year. Typically, we gear up for the big holiday season and donate to different charities or different things like that. And for me, it really symbolizes always pushing yourself to give more. And that's why we kind of brought it here, to remind us each day to give more, to always give more to our clients, to always give more of our time, our effort, and just emotionally be involved every day, and to also collect donations for different charities or people in the community. Just because for us that's important. I think SC helped that. Yeah.
Well, and I think one of the other things for us is Westfield is a big part of who we are, and so we want to get back to Westfield in general too. So we also do workshops. We did a free workshop at the library just to kind of let the community know about coping skills and mental health. We want to make sure that we can reach as many people as possible, because we know that not everybody can come see us, but we want to make sure that everyone gets the support that we can give them. So we try to make sure that in every way we give.
So let's talk about what you do. Your mental health counseling, essentially. So describe that. What does that mean? How do what both of you do differ from what you do? Who do you serve? And who would be looking to come here for services, for assistance?
So my background is marriage and family therapy. I do see individuals, but I also see children, families, and couples. And that's more my area of practice. And I do anxiety, PTSD, ADHD, all of those diagnoses as well. But for me, I try not to focus on the diagnosis ever. I want to see how I can help a couple, a family, or an individual grow and make changes and improve their life, their well-being.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think what we do here is we provide wraparound service for all of our clients, and that's the great thing about us being together. Just the two of us, we know all of our clients. We know all their names, we know their stories, right? We get to control the caseload that we have and not feel pressure by other sources or supervisors that we need to have a certain number. So that's a little bit different, because if we work with a family, we both meet with them for the intake and kind of figure out what's the best course of action that we think, just our recommendations, and who we think would be best to work with that family. And then I'm available or she's available for if someone else in that family needs individual session, you know. So we kind of bring that, and we have numerous clients from Westfield, from public schools, private schools, private agencies, all over, you know, because we try, like Ariana said, we try to make ourselves accessible as always to as many people as we can, and really just provide an individualized service that's a little bit different than maybe you can get other places.
You know, Harry, kind of tied in with that question, I was just wondering, are you seeing people coming here or contacting you who need help dealing with COVID?
Absolutely. I think COVID is a stressful time for everybody. There's been a lot of changes. We have had to adjust to, I don't know, just a huge changes, I guess, really more than anything. Sorry, that was not really fluid. But I think we just have had to change so much of our life and our day-to-day functioning that it's causing a lot of anxiety. And I think not knowing when this is going to end has been hard and anxiety producing in itself. And so I think we've had a lot of people reach out just for some support, even for short term, trying to get through COVID and some of the anxieties. And also for families going back to school has been a really difficult time this year. We went from being in school last year to being virtual, which was difficult, and then being home for the summer with restrictions of being stuck at home and not being able to go out, and then to going back, some people back in person currently, and that's stressful and scary for a lot of kids. So we've been working with families on that too, and how to manage your anxiety and use some coping skills.
So yeah, let's continue on the whole COVID thing. You know, there's no question that our whole country is on edge. The whole world is on edge.
Yeah.
How does that manifest itself? You know, the stressors that come out of something like this, especially for children, there's this almost imaginary germ that's floating around. You have to wear a mask. You're not allowed to touch or hug anyone anymore. If you talk to anyone, you might catch the disease and die. How do children deal with this, and how does that manifest itself with them or in a family setting?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of it's to do with the unknown, right? And especially the age and what they do know and what they don't know about what it is and how it's being portrayed or mirrored in the house too, you know? Because a lot of times the kids will mimic what's going on in the house. So if it's very anxious, very tight restrictions, they're going to have that and not necessarily understand why. Right? Especially if someone's like, we'll say 10 and under, you know, what they understand of COVID-19 versus a common cold versus something else is probably not that much, but they know the restrictions are so much. They know, like, they couldn't go play with their friends over summer break. They know that school's over or online, right? So it's like they see the repercussions of the precautions, but maybe not necessarily understand why, right? So that can lead to increased anxiety, feeling like isolation because they're not able to see their friends and internalizing that as maybe that's something they're doing, or why is mom and dad not letting me do this? So it can manifest in a lot of different ways, and even for adults that are struggling to cope with it, it's like that's tenfold for the kids, you know, especially as I transition back to school right now. A lot of transitions, hard transitions for the children can cause a lot of discomfort for them and added stress.
What's the pressure that's on the home right now? Parents, some cases, are having to work from home. They're trying to be productive. They've got kids in the house that are trying to learn now on their computers. Parents are supposed to be supporting teachers, but you're still, now you're the disciplinarian. You're trying to keep them focused on their tablet. They have to go outside for their phys ed component, and schools are only, I think, 3 or 4 hours in length now versus all day. You know, there's no question that schools, they wouldn't say that they're child care, but they basically provide a form of child care for families because parents normally know that their children are in a safe, supervised environment, being in the classroom. Now they're not, they're at home. That puts tremendous pressure on parents trying to work, be productive, or parents that have gone back to work. And then what are you doing with your children? And I interviewed the superintendent of schools, Superintendent Zaporowski, about that, and you know, he feels for the families, but as he says, Harry, I can't worry about what they're going to do about childcare. I feel and empathize with them, but my focus has to be the education. And I said, I absolutely get that. But that's got to create huge pressure in the home with parents and with children on that.
Absolutely. And I think, too, for parents, it's something that they weren't expecting. I think all of this, all of COVID, it was just unexpected. And I think that's one of the hardest things is learning to adjust and manage with the stressors because we weren't expecting any of this. And so parents are having to multitask and, teach and work or leave the house and work and still figure out how to have their kids do schoolwork. It's stressful.
What would you be, without getting into deep counseling, are there some helpful hints that you can provide to families? What would you say to families just on a surface level of, hey, these are a few things that you could try and things that you should be thinking about?
Yeah. Just to understand that it's okay. It's not going to be a well-oiled machine at first, right? And, regardless of how they might feel about if they should be back in school or remote or not, in the moment right now, you have to focus on what you can control, right, on the day-to-day. And each family is going to approach this differently because each family is in a totally different circumstance, right? And understand that. It's not going to look the same as maybe your neighbor or your sister or what your mom says you should do. But just follow what's going to work for you and try to be as consistent as possible because if you can build that consistency, no matter what that looks like, it's going to help de-stress you and your child. Because like you said, school is a very routine. They know they go at a certain time. This subject ends, and then it's the end of the day, right? They have that routine already in them, and they've had it for all these years. So do the best you can to kind of develop that, control what you can control, and obviously work towards like a positive outlook.
Are there going to be long-term ramifications because of COVID, especially in the minds of children? Will we ever not be comfortable wearing masks again? Will intimacy as far as hugs and handshakes or that type of thing, display of emotion ever come back? Or where, as therapists, where do you see our society going? This is having a huge impact on society, obviously. Youngsters are growing up with this now. I don't see an end to this anytime soon. I think it's going to be a while before they've got a vaccination that people trust. They've got to produce it. They've got to distribute it. It's going to be a while before society feels comfortable just going back to a year ago when everybody's just walking around and you didn't think about it. What's the long-term impact and what the long-term ramifications that you see with children and for people in general with this?
Yeah, I mean, I think the ripple effect could be for a while, because for so long, I think if anyone started this in March and asked how long it's going to be, no one would have guessed ongoing into September. Right?
I figured it was going to be done by the summer.
So I think that in your head, it's just hard without a timetable, right? So I think a lot of people are like, oh, by fall, kids will be back to school, we get back to routine, it would be okay. But now it's like, we just keep pushing the goalposts back farther and farther, and we're just not sure how much more we can adapt. And the kids, because being social is very helpful for them and their mental health and interacting with other people. And, I think that could have a ripple effect depending on, how things progress and how things kind of open up or don't open up, But I think the ripple effect is really unknown right now because this is pretty unprecedented right now. But it's something to be mindful of moving forward, to create, your own new routine that's still the best you can, following everything, but also getting back to where you're kind of living your life.
Yeah. So were you functioning as a business through the COVID period from March 16th all the way through? So you were able to still function. I mean, there was no reason for you not to. Did you see an uptick in business? How did it affect your business flow as far as clients?
We were pretty stable through most of COVID. We had to switch over to telehealth, so we used a program called Doxy.
So what is telehealth?
So telehealth is, we do a virtual program, kind of like Zoom or any of those, where you have a camera and like audio and you talk back and forth and you have a video camera that you're talking through a computer and providing support that way. We definitely had to transition how we were, for me especially too, for like family therapy, you have to transition how you're doing things and how you're supporting families or even an individual using a computer, because you're not seeing all of the factors of them like in person So you learn to change your coping skills and all your strategies for the computer, but we definitely did do that pretty smoothly. We kind of saw it in the beginning and we were like, all right, we're going to start transitioning. We transitioned right away.
Yeah. Yeah, we transitioned, like I said, March 16th. Yes, that was our
Yeah.
last session. It
Yeah.
was Friday the 13th was our last in-person session for a while.
Yeah.
And then we did telehealth exclusively until mid-May, and then we started to transition back slowly as people felt comfortable coming
Right.
in. And right now we offer both.
Yeah.
So it's really up to what people would prefer.
And we have to take a lot of regulations and rules and to having people in person. So we stay 6 feet apart. We wear masks at all time. We have to clean our office in between every single client. We try to keep everyone as safe as possible, and we also need to provide that support because people really need sometimes in person for support. And we have people who will call and say like, I have to be in person. I can't do telehealth. So we want to make sure that we can help out and be supportive as much as possible, and also be very safe.
So let's go back to the start. So when you started the business, you had no client base. How did you establish a client base, and did it come about quickly? And how many clients do you have today?
Oh, we're slowly building.
Yeah, we're slowly building.
Each week, you know. So in the beginning, yeah, it was January, so it was definitely slow. You know, we started on like Psychology Today, and just the people like we knew. We had some open houses, different things like that, just to kind of get our name out there. And then like a lot of the first referrals came to people that we know, like we've known and that we've worked with before, referring people either they work with or people they just know for help. And then we kind of went from there. We did the workshop, which helped us a lot get more exposure and stuff. Created a Facebook page and kind of grew from there. Different things, posting in the forums about our services, different things like that. And through COVID, we had some growth, but we've actually seen the most growth since coming back to the office. We had a great summer as far as getting more clients and referrals.
Oh,
I think just because
fantastic.
people need.
Wow.
I think people just want like to get out and get help and just feel like they can have some control over their life getting it. So we've had our most growth over the past 3.5 months, which has been incredible for us. So,
Fantastic. Wow.
We're very
So
happy about
that's
that,
great
yeah.
to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
You know, it's interesting with COVID, there are certain businesses that have been decimated. Kenny himself lost his job. His business never reopened. He was working up in Northampton, and that never reopened. The restaurant business has been decimated. Bars, in particular, have
Yes.
not been able to reopen. Other businesses are thriving. We're going to be talking to a bike shop, a local bike shop.
Yeah.
Their bike shops nationwide are thriving.
Absolutely.
Recreational businesses thriving.
Yeah.
RVs, anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny how certain businesses have really taken off as a result of COVID, while others have been decimated. So
Yeah.
it hasn't been all doom and gloom, but it's unfortunate for the reasons by which it's that it's been occurring. So I noticed on your website that you're private pay. What does that mean, and why don't you take insurance?
Yeah, so we made the choice not to take insurance and to be private pay just because based on where we worked before, we feel like the best outcomes kind of come from more autonomy and privacy. And when I was working at one of the local hospitals, we had a grant program where we were allowed to kind of think outside the box and kind of help people from where they were, right? And it wasn't about checking a box if someone had insurance or checking a box if they had this diagnosis or this diagnosis. And it just gives us more autonomy to help people in different ways and kind of provide the services we feel best for the clients that we work with, you know. And I think overall it just allows us to have more care and time with our clients and get to know them and have less like stress for us even too, you know, and it creates a better relationship with the clients too. Like we're both invested, you know, and we're both committed to helping you get change.
And I'm sure that the insurance companies have you in a place where you need to do a minimum or a maximum for your rate, and that might not agree with your program and what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and a lot of times they put different things like you have to check that box, you have to make sure and say that it has to be this long or it has to be that long, and then you have to fight them sometimes on certain things, and
Right.
sometimes we can skip all that. You know,
Yeah.
you need the care, you need a check-in now. Sure, come on down.
Right.
I don't need a pre-approval. I don't need.
Oh,
worry
I
about
see.
copay. You don't
Right,
need to worry
right.
about if you're running
Okay.
out of sessions
You can.
or-
You're much more nimble, and
Yeah.
you can take
Right.
clients right away. That's a good point.
Yeah,
That's a
and
good
you don't
point.
have to worry about like, is this billable service or not? It's like, no,
Right.
we're just being nice people. We don't need to worry about
Right.
anything like that, you know. And we work with each client, you know, in each situation because
Right.
we want to make sure that we are accessible for people that need it, you know.
Right.
Because there's a lot of other agencies out there for sure.
Right.
But we do things a little bit more than just therapy, you know, and that's kind of how I talk to people. I'm like, what you're really getting here is me and Ariana. You know, you're getting both of us. You can call us. Like, we're very accessible. You can call us in between sessions. You can call us on the weekends if you need us for a check-in. You know, we're not going to worry about, like, oh, we need to be on this call for a certain amount of time so I can document this and build this, right? It's just more of like when I pitch a tour to be private pay only, it's kind of like an old school doctor doing house calls. Like, you know, that doctor is a different relationship than if you just go in for that 20-minute thing.
Right.
You have a different connection with people, right? And that's what we really want. We want to take the time to know each client's story, how they got to this point in their life right now that they're coming to see us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think private pay just opens that up so much more and doesn't put us in a corner to feel like we have to do certain things.
Right. I noticed on your website that you do have one of your pages. It has your rate structure, and I was looking at that, and I thought it seemed very reasonable for you know, for the half hour, 90 or 40, 50-minute sessions. You have several different options, and I'm guessing that you're very flexible in being able to work with people depending on what their financial capacity is to pay and
Absolutely.
what their needs are. So that's important.
And absolutely, and it's very important for us to, you know, to have access. So, you know, we do offer discounts for military, first responders,
Teachers.
veterans, and then we open up to teachers and students as well because we know this transition this fall, like, they need support too.
Right.
So, well, everyone needs support, but
Right.
we want to make sure like they know that we're here for them. So.
So I took a screenshot. I was on your website, and I took a screenshot. And one of the things I noticed were workshops and in services page. You have a great website, so it's very easy to navigate.
It's all,
I'm
yeah.
guessing, Ariana, that's
I
you.
did.
Yeah.
Okay, there's
My
your.
first time ever making a website, and
Right,
I
so
did that. So
You did well with the
Yeah.
website.
Thank you.
I guess Dallas created the tree. You got the website.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay,
The
that's a
website became
good
my
division of
thing.
duties. But you've got workshops called Rise Up. There's Growth, GROWTH. And all those letters, I'm sure, stand for something. Kickstart Your Fall, Psych It Out 2.0, Crisis Management for Professionals, Unraveling the Section 12, Cognitive First Aid, Positive Affirmation Today. So you've got quite a variety of program services that you provide. Where do the programs come from? Do people see that and then they say, I think I fit into this? Or what are all those workshops and programs?
So we decided we wanted to start helping out the community. So like Rise Up and Growth, we slowly sat down and we're like, what are some areas that the community needs support and information on? And also people have come to us and said, hey, can you do a workshop for us on this topic? And then we create the workshop. So like Rise Up currently is on our website. It's a free coping skill workshop that we created. Originally we were going to do it for a program, but because of COVID, we were going to do it in person, but because of COVID we weren't able to. So we decided to upload it onto our website so that there could be a coping skill workshop that anyone could go look at and see and get some support. But all of the workshops that we've created, we kind of sat down and we're like, where is an area of need? And then we start working on it and created these different workshops that we can provide and offer to the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Psych It Out, we've done, that was the free one we did at the library, and we also did at a local university for a sorority too. So we kind of what we think we've always wanted to create and then kind of just go from there. Obviously with COVID, it kind of slowed us from necessarily booking like in-person ones, but it allowed us to adapt and, like I said, transition Rise Up to a downloadable free one. And then, you know, we're working on converting more to just like that because that's what people need right now, you know?
Right.
But yeah.
Very interesting. So I'm curious as to who your clients are. Individuals, families, all ages, seniors,
Anybody?
kids. What's your client base?
So we'll see anybody who needs support, and I think that's what's important about us is that we see families, couples, individuals, kids, adults. I mean, we see it all in all age groups. And so as long as, you know, they're like 3.5 and up, just because that'd be early intervention. But other than that, I mean, I think, yeah, we don't really have limits in that sense because we have the experience and, you know, we talked about too, we always see who's going to be the best fit for somebody. So we tend to meet with them both, like both of us meet with them and then see who's going to be the best fit as a therapist because we want to make sure that our clients have success.
And so probably in the past month or so, we had more families and children get referred.
Yeah.
So that's been a good breath of fresh air to help because we know like a lot of families out there are struggling and just like it's like month 6 of COVID. How do I?
Right.
My kid's going to remote school. How do I?
Right.
How do I figure this out? And how do I help them? Right.
Right.
So it's a lot of what we've been seeing the past like 3-4 weeks. I think just a lot of people like, what do we do this fall? You know. So I'd say 50% probably children and family right now.
Yeah.
And then the rest is probably young adults to adults.
Do you work with any of the youth-serving agencies such as YMCA or the Boys and Girls Club?
We haven't yet, no.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of things we had planned kind of got put on hold because of COVID and everything kind of slowing down. So we started to slowly creep back and start doing things and reaching out to people because we know people are busy with everything with COVID and their own things. But we started doing that, let's say maybe end of July and August. So we're starting to kind of try to reach back out to those people that we had connection with before and just see if there's anything we could do in a different way than maybe we had planned before. But we don't have any direct affiliations at this point, no, not yet.
Okay. So people, you know, they feel that there's a need. How do they find you? How do they reach out to you? You obviously have a website. Do you use other means? Are you on Facebook? Do you advertise in the paper? Just how do people find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we do have a website. We also
And what's that address?
Oh, yep, sorry, serendipityspsych.com. So
Okay.
pretty easy. And then we have a Facebook page, just facebook.com/serendipityspsych. And we've been in the penny saver a couple times for advertising. We're actually getting a new banner to go across the fence, so we have a little bit more
Good.
appeal.
Right.
Yeah, it just wasn't done in time. It's okay. But then also just like word of mouth. You know, a lot of people is just word of mouth, and they can call us for free phone consultation if you're worried about someone and just want to talk and see if it might work. And our phone number is, you know, 1 digit apart. So mine's 413-579-8887, and she's just 8886. So we try to keep it as simple as possible, you know. But yeah, I think through the website and then the Facebook, people have been able to find us pretty well, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
And Psychology Today, which is our
Psychology
other big one. Psychology Today just has like you put your zip code in and it pulls up local therapists. And so we're on that too. You can kind of read a bio about us and you can call us directly or email us directly through that. And then, yeah, also through our website, you can click, there's a area that says an appointment and or just questions, and you can click that and then it goes to our email.
Okay. We're going to have some shots of your office here kind of interspersed with this interview. But can you just describe for people when they walk in what they would find here?
Absolutely. This
is the waiting area?
Yeah, this is our waiting room. So this would be the second room you enter. The first one is just our entranceway that has some business cards and different resources there. This is our new waiting room. We have some more resources over there on the table. Of course, our giving tree. And then we also have 3 offices in this office. So Ariana and I have our own office, and then we have a designated play therapy office, which is more for when we work with children or families, depending on the ages, and kind of just allows us to have a separate room to be able to work with them. And it also serves as a second waiting room if we were to have people overlap or anything like that due to the new guidelines. So it allows us to separate and also use it as a play therapy group as always.
Very cool. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our listeners as to what you offer or services that they can avail themselves of that you can think of that we haven't covered?
Yeah, I think that we're just very thankful that we got the opportunity to bet on ourselves and open this business in Westfield, and that through COVID-19 we kind of were able to push through, and now we're on the other end of the upside, and we just can't wait to help more people, and that's why we're so happy that we've been busier this fall, because it lets us just help people the way we want to help them. So I think we're just very grateful for the opportunity, for people like trusting us and reaching out to us and giving us the opportunity to help them, because that's all we really ever wanted. And we know so many people need help, and we just want to help any way we can. But other than that,
Absolutely.
no.
Oh, that's fantastic. So to my partner behind the camera, whose voice you've been hearing periodically, is there anything else you can think of, Kenny, that we haven't discussed that we should share with our listeners and our viewers?
As usual, Harry, you've done a great job.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
Thanks,
that. Well, we have been excited to be here. Thank you for inviting us into your office space. I think it's fascinating to just see all the little businesses and services that Westfield has to offer to our families. And that's what I love about Westfield. People have often heard me refer to the way I spell Westfield is H-O-M-E, home.
Yeah.
Meaning it's a place that families live, people take care of one another, everyone looks out for one another, but it's such a phenomenal community to be a part of. And it's great to meet a young fledgling business like yourself that's really doing well, it sounds like. And, it's your timing probably couldn't have been worse. It couldn't have been better.
Right.
But in certain respects, it sounds like it's been better because you've had a real uptick over the summer and you've got a strong client base. And it sounds like you've solidified. You're coming into your 1-year anniversary fairly soon here, and you're going to be able to keep yourself going and providing those important, mental health services and workshops, advice, counseling to our families, to our children, and to the people that need it. So you have been listening to Discover Westfield with Ken and Harry. Again, I'm Harry Rock, and Ken Stomsky, the voice behind the camera that you get to see. My guests today have been Dallas Pilecki and Ariana Avesi. They are the owners of Serendipity Psych Counseling and Consultation, located at 193 Russell Road here in Westfield. So if you feel that you need help, if you need advice, if you need support, or you need someone just to talk to, this is a couple of people that you can definitely come to and I think feel very comfortable. Thanks for being part of our show today. Have a wonderful day. Wow.
Never getting used to that.
I know. It's just like, we just get teletransported here.
So that was Serendipity Psych.
What a great visit that was. I was totally enthralled with a small business that I never knew existed here in Westfield. Again, 193 Russell Road. And what a great office setting that they have.
Yeah, I mean, look at this waiting room they have here.
Oh, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the playroom for children, their office space, it's very, very well done. But if you are looking for counseling services to help with anxiety, stress, other issues that may be going on in your family, this is the place to come. This team here is so well versed on the issues and how to help you with different tools that can get you through whatever it is that you're dealing with, your family or you as an individual.
Yeah, both master's degrees from Springfield College.
Yeah.
And you sat there talking to them, I stood up behind the camera. I felt they were warm and kind and welcoming, and they love to talk. And that makes a very good psychologist or psychiatrist.
It really does. And sometimes people are worried about the fact that, I'm feeling stress, I'm feeling anxiety, I feel like I just need to talk to somebody. But going to a counseling service or a mental health agency, sometimes that's a block.
You got to get by that stigma.
You got to get by that. But when you come in here, you don't have a sense. You're in a home.
Exactly. It is a home.
It was originally a house. And when you go in, you're going into the living room and into the kitchen. These have all been transformed. They're beautifully decorated, and they've done a phenomenal job there. But the whole idea is to make it comfortable for you to go in. And both these individuals are they are excellent at what they do. They do, as you pointed out, make you feel very comfortable and they can certainly give you the tools and the support that you need.
Yeah, well, this episode certainly let us find out about another business in town that I wasn't even aware of. Now, if you have a business that you would like to have considered to be shown on Discover Westfield, please go to www.westfieldtv.org and use the contact admin link, and that'll send a message out to us, and we'll be in touch with you.
We would absolutely love to come. We'll come with our cameras. It's a very quick setup for us. Figure about an hour's worth of your time to do it between setup, breakdown, but great opportunity to showcase your business, your establishment, your organization here in town, to let us know what you have to offer and your hours, products, everything, services. But let us come in and help you tell the community of Westfield what great opportunity you have to share with them.
Excellent. Well, I brought us in. Why don't you take us out, Harry?
You've been listening to another exciting episode of Discover Westfield with Ken and Harry.